So, did VRC just release the best option for people that want to experience the 2022 spec Formula One cars? Personally, I think so. The other two best options before this were the free car recently added into Automobilista 2, and of course the Formula Hybrid X 2022 Evo from Racing Studios, both of which are pretty great in their own right. I've used the Hybrid X Evo a lot recently and I genuinely love driving it, but I just think there's a few things that kind of set this one apart. And a small disclaimer that apparently the current 2022 car from RSS isn't their official or final version, and they'll be releasing a new and improved one at a later date, allegedly, hopefully soon. Um, but as far as the things that I think set the VRC option apart, well, let's start with the arguably subjective. For me, it sounds and drives better. Now, the sound is definitely subjective and less consequential, so I won't waste time with that right now. The driving, however, I think is a decent amount better. I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best sim racer, as you can probably tell from my painfully mediocre gameplay in the background. I've only been doing it for a few months, so forgive me. But with around 20 minutes of driving the Alpha 2022, which is the VRC version, around Spa, I was able to shave a solid 5 seconds off my previous best time that I did with the Hybrid X Evo. And I mean, any sim racer could tell you how big of a difference 5 seconds is. Now, for things that I think the Alpha 22 does better objectively, I'd have to say it's the overall quality and attention to detail. First off, this thing is the first mod I've seen to have customizable arrow that you can literally just swap out while you're in the game. You have two front wings and three rear wings to choose from, I believe, all of which bears some semblance to different arrow kits from the current real-life F1 roster. I don't know what, if any, effect they have on performance, but I think it's just an awesome feature either way. Another thing this car has is actual porpoising, which if you've been watching the current F1 season, you know how big of a talking point that's been. And from my understanding, you can lessen or negate the level of porpoising through custom setups, and there's noticeable visual changes in like suspension and alignment, which to me just shows how much work and thought really just went into this car. I haven't experimented with it myself because I'm not too into the setups yet. I just chose my aero, threw on some softs, lightened my fuel load, and started doing some hot laps. But if you're, the tuning and tweaking kind of racer, I'm sure you could get some great things out of this car. At this point, literally the only negative I can really think of is the lack of skins for official F1 teams that the Hybrid X Evo has. But with how well this mod is being received already, I really doubt it'll be long before we see them. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts on this mod, which I think is just great, and I'd say it's 100% worth picking up. If you want to do so, I'll drop the link in the description, and yeah, till next time.